November 25th World Championship coming up in LA, and these guys inching closer and closer to the opportunity to join the other qualifiers out there on the West Coast as Goku and Chuffles have punched their tickets in. And up next, we're going to be taking a look at Uberino and Howie in the first of the quarterfinal matches from the bottom half of the bracket, followed by, of course, the Tiger Silent. Both of these going to be some solid little matchups going into the Uberino and Howie match, guys. What do you expect? Uberino's the guy that dethroned Foix.
Yeah, I mean, obviously anytime that happens, Uberino's basically put on the map now, and that could play a little bit of a psychological factor to Howie. You know, if he's not able to beat Foix himself, and now he sees that Uberino was able to take down Foix, so we'll see if he's able to come out.
Yeah, and there he is coming out right now. Uberino from Singapore, a student, but when it comes to Summoner's War, he's teaching lessons.
So my strength is, I think, I have pretty good game sense compared to most average players. And for weaknesses, I think I rage a bit too much, yeah.
All right, so there he is, getting set up by our tournament official, Jamar, there. And he's going to be facing off with the guy who we mentioned, Childish Howie, flying very under the radar in his hometown of New York City, talking about his strengths and weaknesses.
So my strength is to really understand the dynamics of the game, the countering aspects of it, trying to feel how the players are going to play and trying to react to that. You know, just really understanding the flow of the game. That's kind of my strength. I think my weakness is I don't have the best runes or the best monsters. I think, you know, in order for me to counteract that, I really have to take a strategic approach to the game.
Well, strategy aside, Howie's been frustrated not pulling a Nat 5 for the last 3 months, he says. And that'll play games on anyone who's a Summoner's War player, especially the number of hours that they put in.
Super unfortunate, but I think we've all been there.
Yeah, and that's the thing. With regards to RTA, you know, one of the things that a lot of people like to say is that, you know, it's all based on those monsters or runes, having the premium monsters to fill certain roles with regards to your team. So the fact that he made a comment about, you know, focusing on the strategy aspect of whatnot, I really got a lot of respect for him because, again, you can outplay your opponent if you know, create a unique composition.
And Uberino leads it off with the Perna.
Starting it off with a Perna, something that I don't think we have seen yet for his first pick.
Yeah, I haven't seen Perna as a lead yet, but I don't think we have. If we have, I don't remember seeing it.
Possibly could be taking it away from Howie from what we've seen thus far.
Right, if he was paying attention to the scouting reports, having watched Howie in his other match, where Howie defeated iFrank 30, coming back, I believe, from a 1-0 deficit to beat iFrank, who was looking good for a good portion of the games that he lost. We see the draft carrying on.
Yeah, bringing in the Orion and Theo composition there with regards to Uberino. Interesting choice. Again, Orion is such an amazing monster, but of course you're going to have some kind of backup in order to fill the role if that's the only attack bar booster. And how he sees that, he may potentially bend it to take away the first run if he's trying to go for a more YOLO approach. What's your thoughts on this, Clay?
I mean, it obviously looks like Uberino's going more of a YOLO approach, especially with that Perna first pick. There's no secrets about it. And then he goes right into the Orion and Theomar's pick, which it's not really something that you see very often between what Uberino's picking, but Howie picking a little bit more on the traditional side, aside from the Dark Sky dancer there.
So Uberino putting some interesting ingredients into his soup pot here, not the type that tend to be the ones that add up to a winning flavor, but, you know.
Well, he's definitely going YOLO, especially now with those last 2 picks between Charlotte and Tiana. So his main goal is to get the first turn, get them locked down, and then finish off 1 or 2 monsters right off the bat as quick as possible. And I like the counter pick from Howie, having the Samath come in here to give that speed boost. So now it lets Uberino kind of decide whether he wants to remove the speed leader or if he wants to remove, say, one of those faster monsters like Veligul or Wusa.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what he decides to do. We got 7 seconds to decide, and looks like Hathor is locked down And Tiana's locked down from both opposing ends here. So, of course, now how are we going to be able to take advantage of that 33% lead? And Uberino utilizing the critical rate lead by Theomars.
Hathor, such a tempting ban. You don't want to be snoozing.
Always.
You don't
Always
want to be
attempting.
snoozing all match.
No, sir. And this might be tough in Uberino's situation because of that Wusa outspeeding his entire team. He's not going to get a whole lot of help from this Orion.
Yeah, Orion taking off that shield instead of the Will, which he definitely wanted to do. So now we're going to have to wait and see what he decides to do. Of course, he cannot provide that defense break since the immunity is still on. So now, and Charlotte, once again, going for the skirt skill, despite the fact that he cannot reduce the attack bars. That's a crucial component of Charlotte, the Winter Gold Girl. He's just trying to do some damage so that potentially Perna can just one-shot one of these units.
Almost does it. Almost takes out that Dark Sky Dancer, but I definitely agree with the choice to use the third skill from Charlotte because that immunity is going to be up for the rest of the game. Right. So you got to just break through it and don't really care about it because he has the 2 immunity buffers between Wusa and Veligible. But here's Dark Grudge. It's not going to do a whole lot of damage because, well, it does enough damage. It takes out the Perna
Don't call it a
just
comeback.
as much as it needed to do. So we'll see, though, if that Perna can now come back and take out the rest of the HP from the Dark Sky Dancer, or if even Charlotte can do it. But it looks like that Samantha is doing lots of damage. Also now, Veligible doing a little bit more damage on that Perna, who is holding on just by the thick of things and able to come back and does not get enough damage to take out the Dark Sky Dancer.
Yeah, that was crucial. He really needed to take it out to kind of give him a little groundwork for the rest of the match here. So now
down goes the Perna, and that is a real blow to Uberino's strategy here.
But then also now Dark Sky Dancer is out of the match for Howie. And at this point, that Theomars has not been able to take a turn for a very long time.
Nope, he's been locked down quite a bit, and of course,
Use that stun.
Of course, the Charlotte here, with only one person not having the immunity there, but instead tried to get the sleep on it, wasn't able to get the job done. Of course, Orion answering back, getting a nice stun there. Now we have the additional turns, getting them once again. Oh my goodness gracious, that first skill coming into play, despite the Season 2 change on the Violent Procs only get 1, his first skill has a 30% chance to get an additional turns. Definitely in favor of Uberino here on the aspect of the Violent Procs. The RNG is amazing.
Absolutely, super good luck for Uberino on that end. He was trying to get the sleep down from Charlotte, unable to, and then,
oh man,
just with 1 inch of HP, not even an inch of HP left, Wusa is able to get off the third skill now, and Charlotte might be able to break through that shield, though, I would assume.
Yep.
Is able to take down the Wusa. Now, this could be anyone's match. I would say now it's swinging back in favor of Uberino, though.
Yep. He has a lot more damage on his end, but again, notice that he's working on Veligible. I think he wants to stay away from the Samantha. He knows what Samantha can do if you proc his second or his passive there to provide the AoE.
That Samantha's going to be super scary because all those 3 monsters
Are low.
Are one shot.
Yeah.
They're one shot from Samantha.
So who do you pick, though? The Theo, the Charlotte?
Oh,
Watch right here.
Right here. Here it comes. Right
Gonna kill all 3 of them.
Interesting choice. Oh my goodness.
Just like that.
Unbelievable turn of events here. Howie takes the win, game 1. What an amazing choice.
Yeah, real swingy match there.
Yeah. Man, I really want to get into the thought process of that one there. Why did he go for Samantha considering what his passive can do and his units being so low?
Well, you saw at that point, he didn't have any choice.
Yeah,
He did not have any single choice because eventually he had to kill the Samantha.
Yep. Might as well do it now before later.
Backed himself into the situation, essentially.
Yeah, there's nothing he could do.
So Uberino finds himself down 1-0, took that YOLO approach, did not pay off.
Yeah, Howie starting it off with the Wusa pick. Uberino taking his time considering what he saw the first round. Is he going to go for that YOLO approach? It's looking to be. We don't know yet. Of course, it's looking to be these 2 particular units, some highly contested units, even though they can be his first picks. You could still create different compositions despite what may appear to be YOLO.
Yeah, Sierra Bassett definitely leaves it open for the rest of the picks. Of course, it is leaning towards a YOLO comp once again. However, you can still change things up with these last 3 picks to still have some sort of sustain. But I think he's just going to go for it.
But given that the YOLO comp didn't work out last time against Howie's build, and I'm not sure that Howie has an identical build going here, is it perhaps ill-advised for Uberino to go right back to it?
Yeah,
I think it's going to be tough for him. I think Howie's showing 3 really strong monsters that all work very well together with Wusa, Hador, and Perna, having lots of sustain, lots of damage, and Uberino still looking to go right back to that same YOLO comp there.
Yep.
Now we see a little bit different strategy because he doesn't have that Perna first pick.
Yeah. Maybe he's taking that page out of Chuffles' book, despite the fact that Chuffles was down 1 match and came in with that YOLO approach here, and Chuffles has advanced here, so I don't know.
The difference is I'm not sure Chuffles took the YOLO approach in the first game. He came back in the second game with his back against the wall. Uberino's employed it already unsuccessfully in the first game and going right back to it in the second game.
But Uberino almost had it the first game.
True.
Almost
True,
had
true,
it. It was a couple different things that swung one way or another that weren't able to allow him to win. I would say if I were Uberino, I'd be looking at banning out the Wusa.
The Lucian is the 5th pick.
And here's the crazy thing. Lucian he's running 3 different wind monsters into, we got, of course, Perna, Rakan. This is pretty interesting.
And who's Uberino banning here?
It looks like Uberino is looking to ban Rakan. Looks like he's trying to lock up Rakan.
That's a good choice because, I mean, he baited the Lucian ban so that way he still has his Tiana, which gets rid of that threat from Wusa. So I like this. I like this from Uberino. I think he's got a good chance at this one now.
There we go.
So Wusa's going to go first. I would say he's got to use his 3rd skill. Tiana's going to use her 3rd skill. And then he's got to use his 2nd skill, I would assume, from Bastet, right?
I would have to imagine here this is a great opportunity.
Or does he chance it?
Nope, he wants to get the attack. Yeah, he wants to get the attack.
Plays it safe.
But again, of course, that violent frog, unbelievable.
Doesn't matter.
It does not matter. We keep on forgetting Uberino getting it in with that violent Bastet here. I might have to switch my Bastet to violent. I'll tell you what.
Able to take out 2 monsters there the first turn, and that's exactly what he was trying to do the first game. And there's not much that Howie can do just as quick as that. It's one of those things where you run YOLO, it's high risk, high reward, really quick matches, and I mean, there's a potential chance he could come back, but I don't see.
It would take a heck of a lot of RNG and perhaps some mistakes on Uberino's behalf.
Yeah, and considering how Perna's passive work, it's going to provide a little bit of a heal on its allies, but not in and of itself. I mean, it literally has to get a ton of violent procs to reset his passive to get his revive back into play.
And you can only get 1 violent proc, and he wasn't able to get one there to finish off the Sierra. So Bastet increasing the attack bar, also the shield and attack power, and it's over.
It is over.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
All smiles for Uberino.
Right?
Howie just conceding. There was not much he was going to be able to do.
In my opinion, those are the most exciting matches to watch because it's go big or go home at that point.
Yeah.
So.
And I think Uberino should probably stick to the game plan, play with that aggressive approach. I mean, it's worked from the past, right? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, and like you said, he almost got through. My concern is that you don't necessarily, when it almost worked the first time around, want to go back to it if you know that from a comp standpoint, you don't have the edge in your favor. You're really relying a little bit more on the RNG side of things when you take the approach, whereas I would much rather put a box together that's going to be favored inherently and not just kind of be rolling dice with so much on the line.
Yeah. You make a good point here.
But now, you're 1-1 with the YOLO, right back to the YOLO.
He's doing
You got the
it
lead
right.
pick with the Sierra.
He's already got the Sierra down. It's the same 2 picks from Howie, so there's no reason not to at this point. Of course, he might not get the same violent proc from Bastet that he got the last match.
All right. Is it going to take Ali's advice for going sustained, or does he take my approach and get aggressive and take him out real quick?
Wusa Hador so far for Howie.
Uh-oh, Ali. It looks like he might be going YOLO.
Did he shift gears? No.
It's a little bit different. It's YOLO, but it's different. He now has an Orion instead of Tiana.
That is interesting. That is interesting.
Well, how big a factor did Tiana play in the ultimate success of the YOLO approach
Huge
last?
factor.
So why go away from it then? I'm trying to figure out why you opt for the Orion there.
Unless he's deciding that he's going to be banning out the Wusa this time that he didn't last time. Now, he's got to be careful, though, because he's got one last pick. He decides to go with Tsarian. I would have said maybe a Zeros in this situation would have been a better option, especially with the Perna and Samath.
Yeah, and that would have worked out either way. I definitely believe that he could have gone that way. Of course, Tsarion is going to be able to provide the defense break if he wants to kind of burst it down. And we do have DMRs to kind of back it up when it comes to burst damage. And we cannot say anything away from Ciara as well. They do a ton of great damage. So either way, I'm happy with it. I'm curious to see how it plays out.
Well, if the Hathor gets through, could it possibly end up neutralizing the Theo, which we saw really not even get much action until very deep into that first game they played?
He's got to take out the Wusa. He knows that that monster is going to be faster than him. He's got to take it out.
He's got himself in a tough spot, though, because you don't necessarily, of course, it's going to be the Wusa, but now you let the Hathor get through.
Yeah, but the Hathor is only going to be able to land that stuff if it's able to break through the will, which, of course, if Uberino is running, quad will here with regards to all hit 4 of his units.
Is he going to ban the Samat?
He bans the Smath because he's thinking that he's going to be faster than Wusa without a speed lead.
This is risky business out of Uberino, banning the Samat over the Wusa.
I think Howie's got this.
No.
Just based on the pick ban.
Just pick ban, it may be over?
Got this.
Okay, here we go.
We'll find out.
Although Orion did get the first turn, is that going to be enough? And it is enough to boost up the Bastet.
Ooh, this is interesting. Theomar is going before Tsarion. Why is this the case? Tsarion needed to be going first so he could provide the Oblivion and have Theomar's follow through to take him out. Now he has to deal with a reset here. Perna's back to square one.
Huge damage, though, from that Tsarion, just to one-shot the Perna. Now here comes Hathor, and
3 out of 4 down.
Yeah. Could be bad news for Uberino. This is exactly what Howie was hoping for, to not have too much, dead on the first turn. And, of course, with the Amarna there as well, as soon as that Perna goes down, he can revive it right back.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like Howie is staying on that Tsarion path. Tsarion trying to do work and take out that Perna. Here we go now. Mountain's power is in and giving a little bit of heal on Perna, keeping him alive. No additional proc by Perna. I cannot believe it. This is like the first time ever. Okay, we're getting a couple of additional turns here. Now we got DMRs to fill in. Didn't take Perna out just yet. They're still trying to work him down. Wusa with a clutch, 2-turn sleep onto Tsarion here. And so now, of course, interesting choice. Howie awakening it, just wait to take it out. I definitely like that. Let's get it out of the way right now.
Yeah, but now the Perna on its second life goes down as well, so we're at 3 apiece.
We are at 3, but don't forget about that Amarna being able to revive the opponents.
Right.
Revive the allies, correction, so that he can get them back to square one.
Here goes the shield up from Wusa, which is a really good option for Howie, of course. And I think he's in a good situation, of course. The Theomars as well with an attack break, not able to do as much damage as he was hoping for. Able to put it to sleep now. Yes, he does get the sleep down, and exactly what Howie needed. So Howie's
Doesn't
strategy
look good for Uberino here.
Howie's strategy is playing really, really well right now.
Doing really good.
Unable to remove any buffs.
And that's the aspect.
Unfortunately.
Orion is such an amazing monster, but of course that RNG aspect of Harmless Frank, being able to remove 1 buff and then provide 3 harmful effects there. If everybody's locked down with will, nothing you can do.
Nice timing for the heal from Wusa to get that heal extra HP back onto Perna as well. Dropping down the sleep, full team, and we'll see who he goes to awaken. It's going to be the Orion. That means all damage now goes to Orion for the next couple turns. Gets the defense break, and are we going to see a crit?
Whoa.
Don't see it now.
Whoa.
Perna is notorious for getting crits on water monsters.
Like, as one of our influencers that we all have grown to love, Mr. YDCB, he says Perna defies the law of elements. Not this time, though. Unbelievable.
Not this time, but it's still okay. Howie's in a good position.
Yeah, Orion down, and Uberino, in fact, more down, 4-2. And not looking good between the Amarna's revival, the Perna back in play, now the shield being employed by the Wusa.
Also getting another violent proc from Perna. Able to land the crit there, taking out massive damage from the Bastet. And that is it.
Tapping out. That's when you got the submission hold in place. You're like, don't make me break it! So Uberino concedes to Howie, and it was live and die by the sword for Uberino effectively, who employed that YOLO strategy. But then all of a sudden, as we mentioned, Clay, moving away from the Tiana, I believe it was, that he was pairing earlier.
There's a couple weird things with Uberino's choices. Of course, he was trying to go for the YOLO composition, but he didn't use Tiana, which he knew that Wusa was showing. But then also, he didn't use his Tsarion faster than his
Right, he went with the Theomars first. Yeah.
Which, again, having that speed tuning is so important to be able to take down that Perna first turn. Regardless of whether he wanted to go with a more AoE approach with Zeros, like we talked about as well, he needed to have that Tsarian faster than his Theomars.
So not going with the Zeros, where perhaps you felt like that would have been the better comp build out with the 5th pick, and then not leading with the Tsarian. You suggesting then things could have taken place a little bit differently there, Childish?
Most definitely. That Tsarian was a crucial component that really, for me personally, just really changed the flow of the game. And that's what we have grown to love. If you don't take the time to synergize your units effectively, this is what can happen. This is single elimination.
And that's the same guy who eliminated Foy, now falling victim to Howie, as we've seen all kinds of surprises, and we've seen a lot of our Maria Ho, who is standing by with Howie. Maria.
In the 3rd game, there was a bit of a momentum shift. Can you kind of talk about when you started feeling comfortable instead of maybe being a little bit hesitant in that game?
Well, I really like the aspect that both Perna and Pisama can revive. Armana is a monster that's kind of underrated, and he's actually one of my favorite monsters. So having triple revives is pretty awesome.
You seemed pretty calm up there, but tell me a little bit of how you're feeling inside now. Are you excited, nervous still? You're moving on to the next round.
I've been playing 3 matches, so hopefully the next match will be a 3-setter as well. Let's keep this exciting for everyone.
Okay, well, we can't wait. And they seem to be pretty happy about it. We'll see you in a bit.